This was the Lynch Road Assembly Plant in 1957, a true manufacturing cathedral.
All right, bring it up slow. Watch your footing over there. Clear on this side. Take it easy now.
Meticulous material management was key to Chrysler's 1957 logistics. Every coil organized by type.
Here we see the continuous acid pickling line. The hot-rolled steel is immersed in heated sulfuric acid.
Here we see the massive coil being rapidly prepared for stamping. The material must be processed promptly, preventing the onset of age hardening.
The leveling rolls eliminate the curvature and internal stresses, ensuring the perfectly flat material required for modern industry. Here on the line, the special Fury blank banks are prepared. Only 7,438 of these exclusive models will ever be built.
The extra deep draw operation was the most challenging stamping, stretching the metal into the iconic compound curves.
Critical flanging of fin edges, creating attachment surfaces for gold anodized chrome trim unique to Fury.
Watch the edge there. Okay, she's lined up. Clear the press.
The draw on this scoop is perfect.
Yeah, the boys in the press shop outdid themselves this time.
Stamped separately, this inner reinforcement utilizes an intricate egg crate pattern for unmatched structural integrity and rigidity.
Here we see the robust stamped steel construction. The functional engineering is evident in these mounting bosses and the precise cutouts for the latch mechanism.
The inner and outer panels are married together. A precise rolled hem flange secures the perimeter, completing the assembly.
The complexity of the 57 firewall is evident in these separate stampings for the air conditioning and non-AC variants.
The structural backbone stamping and box section rocker panels were key to the 1957 Plymouth's durability.
Automated fixtures hold the subassembly steady as the high-voltage welders fuse the frame rails to the body structure.
The inner and outer panels are precisely hem-flanged together, a testament to the robust design of the 1957 model.
The technician brushes the zinc chromate primer onto the mating surface, a vital step in preventing corrosion on the bolted parts.
This final deionized water rinse is critical for optimal paint adhesion, leaving the surface perfectly clean and ready for the next stage.
Conveyed into the inferno, the primer is baked hard at 300 degrees, creating the perfect foundation for a flawless finish.
To ensure the Fury was completely waterproofed, workers meticulously applied seam sealer to all joints using brushes and caulk guns.
The enamel reducer must evaporate during this flash time, a critical step in the 1957 paint process.
The third and final Sand Dune White color coat provides full depth and gloss.
The third and final Sand Dune White color coat for full depth and gloss.
Trace this line here. The sag is evident.
Yes, sir. And we have heavy orange peel starting here.
We carefully feed the main harness through the firewall opening, ensuring the rubber grommet seats correctly before routing the branches to the instrument cluster and accessories.
The control cables must be precisely connected to the blower assembly.
That feels right. Go ahead and close it gently.
Perfect fit. Couldn't be better.
The centerpiece of the 57 Fury is undoubtedly this distinctive front end.
boasting gold anodized bars and the striking dual headlight bezels. This is the revolutionary Torsion-Aire suspension. The hex-shaped torsion bars insert into the lower control arm and the adjustable anchor bracket on the cross member. This is the groundbreaking anti-dive geometry. The control arms are angled up at 17 degrees, actively counteracting nosedive under heavy braking.
Upper and lower ball joints with super oilite bearings installed, reducing friction and steering wheel fight.
Assembled here is the 1957 front suspension.
With the hub in place, the outer tapered roller bearing and thrust washer are inserted.
The design here is fascinating. The semi-elliptic leaf springs are mounted outboard, and the front section acts as a torque arm.
And that's exactly 50 foot-pounds. Solid as a rock.
Here we see the Oriflow shock absorbers being installed. The revised valving provides significantly firmer low-speed damping, completing the suspension upgrade. The wheel cylinders, bolted securely to the backing plate, activate these primary and secondary shoes. Here we see the robust 1957 recirculating ball steering system, driven by the Saginaw-style power steering pump on the V8.
Check the trim code on the broadcast sheet now. Make sure it matches before we drop it.
The K-member and A-arms are installed upward, then the transmission cross-member is bolted in place, completing the body drop for the 1957 final assembly. Here we see the heart of the beast. Here we see the newly installed radiator, essential for the 57 V8. The 6-volt battery is correctly installed, sending power through the main harness to the firewall bulkhead connector, completing all lighting circuits.
Watch the clearance on the left side there.
All right, keep it coming slow. We're almost locked in.
In 1957, the Fury was Chrysler's answer to the horsepower race, capable of reaching an astonishing 150 miles per hour.
Billed as the most advanced automatic of 1957, the TorqueFlite A466 featured this innovative push-button selector.
318 cubic inch V800 V8 engine block on assembly stand showing dual 4-barrel carburetor intake manifold. Exclusive front-end styling defined the 1957 Plymouth identity. Note the distinctive gold anodized aluminum grille bars.
This dramatic vertical tail fin represents the 1957 styling revolution.
Here at the Lynch Road Assembly Plant, 12,000 workers labored around the clock to bring the forward look to life.